Welcome back to the channel. In 2026 there's been so many good releases for walking shoes and we've tested over 35 pairs. Like always, I'm going to break down the key features of my top 5 favourite releases so far this year when it comes to walking and standing, and all of the shoes that I'm featured here today are shoes that I've bought independently so that I can give a truly honest review as a foot specialist. And in fact, there's 6 shoes that I'm going to talk to you about, 2 that I just couldn't leave out of the top 5, so I've added them in jointly at the top. So at number 5 we've got the Nike Structure Plus. So this was a welcome addition to the Structure range. It's got 2 different types of cushioning in it. We've got the Zoom X and the React X, which means that you get a really nice bouncy feel, and it's a relatively flat shoe with a little bit of rocker to help with the push off phase of the gait cycle. So really comfortable slip on feel, lots of padding underneath your foot, but it doesn't feel unstable. Now, if you're someone who needs some elements of stability, but you've also got a high arched foot, then this shoe can work perfectly because it's got stability on the inside of the shoe, but also on the outside of the shoe, which is relatively unique. And the fact that it's got a broad-based support under your forefoot helps to add that extra element of stability. So those of you with a higher arch, you're getting plenty of cushioning in there, and you're also getting some supination control features. On top of the shoe, we've got a nice mesh upper, plenty of space in the toe box, and it's just true to size and length. This is an excellent option for walking and for standing. And if you're interested in a similar version with that type of support but less cushioning, you've got the Nike Structure 26, which we've got a review of as well. Then the joint top 5 position also goes to the new Balance Ellipse. Now this is a freshly released shoe in 2026, so the first of its type, the V1. And really, it's a replacement for the 1080 V14 for those of you familiar with New Balance. If not, what you're getting is Fresh Foam X cushioning, which is really soft, really comfortable. So if you're standing for long periods of time or you're going for really long walks, this really gives you all day comfort and doesn't bottom out at the end of the day. It's got a nice rocker profile to help propulse you forward, nice broad-based support underneath your foot. It comes in a range of colorways, as does the Nike. Got plenty of space in the toe box, and it's a true to size and length. And it's one of the cheaper shoes of all the shoes that have been released this year. So it sits slightly under that premium market. It's relatively lightweight considering the amount of cushioning that you get underneath your foot. And really, it's one of my favorite shoes that I've tested over the last couple of years, especially at this price point. So that's the New Balance Ellipse. Then coming in at number 4 is the Hoka Gaviota 6. Now, it's a predecessor of the Gaviota 5, which was one of the best stability shoes of 2025. They've changed this up a little bit, even though they said that it's a relatively similar shoe. It's still a max stack shoe, however, the cushioning isn't as soft as what we saw on the Gaviota 5, so you get a really firm endpoint, so it's still really comfortable, feels like a max cushion shoe, but it's not sloppy, it's not mushy, you feel like you're on a relatively stable platform. Then that's complemented by a H-frame system, so that runs either side of the outsole and across the middle, providing torsional stability and rigidity to the forefoot. So it's a max stability shoe, but you don't get that pressure up into the arch of your foot. It's a very modern form of stability that focuses on keeping you centered in the shoe as you move. Now, unlike most Hoka shoes, this one has a relatively wide toe box, so plenty of space for your toes to splay, but still a great lockdown on the midfoot and on the heel as well. So this is the perfect option for those of you who walk and stand all day due to the low drop, who need a max cushion shoe, but need elements of stability and you don't like something pressing up into the arch of your foot. Then we move on to number 3 on the list, and that's the On Cloudrunner 3, which is a shoe that really surprised me. There's a couple of reasons for this. One is the cushioning is really firm underfoot, and that's how it provides some elements of stability. So you get a really good ground contact feel, even though you've got lots of padding under your foot. They've got a nice heel clip that runs around the back of your ankle, helping to control pronation moments when you initiate contact with the ground. A nice rocker profile to help you with propulsion during the gait cycle. It's got loads of space in the upper, a nice lockdown on the midfoot, and On are known for having some of the best structured uppers on the market. And the CloudTech pods, well, we haven't had any issues with squeaking or with stones getting trapped underneath the shoe, and it's just a really comfortable, really stable shoe. So for those of you who need some elements of support and like a firmer cushioning underneath your foot, then the On Cloudrunner 3 is a terrific option. Now, the number 2 spot goes to the Brooks Glycerin 23, and honestly for most people this is probably the number 1, but the number 1 is a bit more of a personal choice. This is one of the best shoes that have been released in 2026 by an absolute mile. So they've updated the cushioning so that it feels much more premium underfoot. So very balanced, not too soft, not too squishy, but it really feels like you're getting a high quality levels of comfort and support underneath your foot. Then we've got a gentle rocker profile to help when you're walking, a nice broad base of support to increase the amount of stability that you have with the shoe, even though it's a classic neutral. It's got a really premium upper on top, but perhaps it's not the most breathable on the market. You got a classic fit in the Brooks Universal Fit, but it does come in a wide version as well. Nice padded tongue and loads of cushioning around the heel cup for those of you who like a really snug fit, a really locked in fit into the shoe. So this is the shoe that's going to work best for most people. If you're using it for walking, for standing, for daily life. It comes in an array of colours, but also comes in these classic kind of neutral colours, so it fits in with most styles. So a really premium, comfortable feeling shoe, which is a link for it in the description below if you want to check out the latest price. Then personally, the Altra Experience Flow 3 is the best shoe that's been released so far this year. And there's a number of reasons for that if you stick with me. One is the anatomical toe box. So the best fitting toe box on the market, allows your toes to splay, and it's got a great lockdown on the midfoot and the heel. It won't work for you if you've got a broad foot throughout the whole length of your foot, but for those of you with an average size foot or with a wider forefoot, this is going to be perfect. The Ego P35 cushioning underneath your foot is balanced, so it's not as much cushioning in terms of volume as what we get in the Glycerin. However, what you get with it is a really comfortable feel underneath your foot. You still get a great ground contact feel, but it gives you enough protection that you can walk longer distances in it. You've got a nice flexible forefoot, and that encourages natural movement of your foot, and you've got a broad-based support underneath your foot as well. So this shoe won't work for you if you've got a really wide foot. Or if you're used to really max stack, max cushion shoes, you're going to have to transition slowly into this type of shoe. But personally, it's got the best toe box on the market. It's got enough cushioning to give you support without affecting how you walk. So you can walk naturally in this shoe, and it's not too padded, not too cushioned, so your foot isn't sinking into it too much, and it's not giving you an unrealistic expectation of what a walking shoe should actually feel like. Something to consider if you've always been wearing a max cushion shoe, as transition to this can be really favourable for your feet if you don't have any pre-existing conditions. But let us know on your thoughts on the top shoes of 2026 so far. Any that you feel I've missed out on, drop in the comment section below. There's links to all these in the description if you want to check out the latest prices. And otherwise, if you watch regularly but you haven't subscribed, please consider it as the one thing you can do for free that makes the biggest difference to the channel.